Welcome back to another solo episode of It's a Man's World. We are officially into August and time just seems to be going very, very, very fast at the moment. And while I'm here, I wanted to touch on a podcast and an episode that everyone asks about. A lot of questions come in the question box about it, and it's about taking things beyond a page and a piece of paper and a pen. Okay, when we look at journaling, manifestation, breaking beliefs, pushing outside your comfort zone, these are all things that I've kind of touched on in different podcasts. But today, I really want to tap into why I journal, the power of journaling, the manifestations that have come true for me, and try and help you break the beliefs and the mindset that you might be in at the minute. And hopefully, if you are listening from wherever you are in the world, if you're at home, if you're in Ireland, know that there is no cap, there is no limit to what you can achieve and what you can do. I'm quite glam today if you're watching this on YouTube, not like me. Normally, I'm in gym gear. I was at a shoot before this and we're definitely caffeinated up. So if you're here, you're listening this morning, grab a coffee, grab a can. I did say I was giving these up, by the way, but here we are. Okay. So that's nice. The first thing that I want to get into, and this, by the way, this episode was just something that I was talking to a team member, and we were bouncing back and forward, and I was like, this has to be a podcast. This would be a very, very good podcast. And again, my mentor clients, my Fit Coach Rossi ladies, everyone asks me about stuff like this, and it's so true. Whether you think it's airy fairy, tap on. Don't join in for this episode, but I think if you really want to lock in for this, it's going to be very, very beneficial. So let's start with the first thing that I've put down here in the brief. And again, you know me, I like to go off free fall, but I have got some pointers that I just feel like are going to guide us and through this episode a little bit easier. This is 30 minutes, by the way, out of your day. Lock in, stop with the scrolling. Don't come back and do 101 things. Listen at the same time and take note and take action with what I'm saying. So this episode isn't just about journaling, by the way. It's going to be a lot more. It's going to be about writing your truth when the world tells you to do the opposite, to follow the norm, to do what generations have done. And for me, it tells you, I feel like personally, to stay small. It tells you to stay safe. And for a long time, I was scared of upsetting other people, and I speak about this a lot on social media as well. And I really, really am at a point where I don't care, and you have to put yourself forward and you have to put yourself first. And in this episode, I'm going to dive into manifestation. I'm going to dive into limits and beliefs, especially around women. This podcast is It's a Man's World. It is breaking out societal norms, by the way. You know this by now. And how journaling became a mirror, a map, and a microphone for my own journey. And it really did, from Ireland through self-doubt, from a small place where I was living, the mindset, the possibilities that of what I could do. I never, ever even imagined to put things like this down on a piece of paper of how I'm living right now. It's a Tuesday, I'm in Miami, I'm recording a podcast. I just came from a shoot. I'm going back to beautiful check-ins, helping women transform their lives. I've got an inspiring call with my girls tomorrow for the mentorship. Like, this doesn't really feel like ever work. It feels just like my norm, and I've made it my norm. So today I want you to make what you feel is going to be your norm. But in order to manifest things, you have to embody it. You have to start showing up as the person that wants those things, or is those things, or has created that life or that situation for yourself. So you can't expect to do the same thing all the time and get the same result. You really have to do things different in order to get a different outcome as well. So journaling. It's not just self-care. And men, if you're listening right now, I know journaling for you is like, oh, I'm not putting pen to paper, stupid journaling and all. Okay. But any of my friends that have done this, they're like, when I don't do it, oh my God, like they're like, I can feel a difference. Like, what has changed? And they're like, oh my God, I don't even know what was going on, because your brain is always on the go. Like mine, like all of us, no matter whether you're in business or just in a normal job at the minute, like you always have 101 things going on in the back of your mind. So it's important that you declutter your mind and you take them out of your thought process from a screen or even from your mind and put it onto pen and paper and just see what comes up. This episode as well, I talk about how I rewrote my limits and beliefs and what I thought I could achieve, and the things that I knew right now when I look at it, I wouldn't have even been able to imagine those things. So I know when you're listening, you're probably the exact same. You're probably like, I can't even think about those things. I can't even push outside the comfort zone or even imagine myself, because me, how could I do that? I was once that person, but I always had a very, very strong belief in the back of my head of where I would be and what I would do. And we create these ceilings for ourselves. And for me, the ceiling is invincible. Like, I can't see it. Like, I don't even know where it is. Of course, I'm in a place right now, but in general, like, the sky is really the limit. And that's how I see everything. I see problems and setbacks and roadblocks as like opportunities to grow, opportunities to learn, to heal. And I think people always fixate on the one thing that's going wrong and they can't even think about the next big thing. So today I urge you to try and go a little bit deeper on yourself. And why would you not? Why would you not want more? Why would you not want to change? Why do you not want growth? And it's like evolution is something I also speak about a lot in the podcast, and that's something that you should be inspired to work towards as well, because we all want to become better. Well, at least I do for sure, and I know any of you guys that are listening, you do too. And if you ever felt stuck, if you ever felt small, if you felt like the people around you and the mindset, you couldn't share or speak your truth about where you want to go, there is more waiting for you. There's so much more waiting for you, and this episode is for you. I can't urge you enough to go for this. So why it matters. So no one tells you how much you believe of what you believe was inherited, not chosen. So we're born into certain circumstances. We're born into a place that we don't decide on. That's just where we are. But you can rewrite and you can take a different path and take yourself to a different journey whenever you want. And I think as women, we are naturally under a little bit of a biological clock, okay? But we're kind of told that like the norm is like get married, have your kids, get the house, do all of that, whichever way you want to do it. And then it's like the pressure and the feeling of I haven't got my life together when my friends are all getting married, my friends all have houses. But realistically, and the way I look at it is like there is no ceiling to what we can do. There is no time frame. Yes, okay, down the line with your body clock, there is. But in terms of what you can achieve as a woman, I hope that my journey is inspiring you to know that like that's not all it is. That's not all that you can do. You're so much more and you're capable of so much more. So journaling became really part of my routine every single day. When I stopped performing and I started to ask. And I asked myself every day, how was I feeling? And one of my good friends, Collie, he was on the podcast last year or maybe a little bit longer. Maybe like 2 years ago, which is crazy, a year and a half. And he journals every single day. You see his stories, and if you follow him, you'll know he doesn't miss a day. Like literally, he does not miss a day. And I always ask myself as well, what do I actually want? Like from that day, from my manifestations, from the things that are clear in my mind. And they feel uncomfortable to write down sometimes because they feel so far away. And when we don't, as humans, get instant gratification, we think, what's the point? Or I'll never achieve that. But first of all, you're setting yourself up for failure. And I really want you to know that you're the one that's putting the cap and the limit on your journey right now. And journaling isn't always pretty. It's not always, it doesn't feel good. You feel a bit awkward at the start. And you also don't really know what to write sometimes on the page. I know so many people that are like here, like, I don't even know where to start when it comes to journaling. Like, where is it? Dump your thoughts. How are you feeling? What are you grateful for? You woke up today. What about all the small things in life that you can't even acknowledge or be grateful for that are free? We woke up today. You've got a roof over your head. You could afford your lunch. You could have food. You could have your fresh water. Like, I know them things seem very small, but they're I promise you they're not. They're the big things. And I think as well, we have to get honest with ourselves and we have to feel that. And again, a lot of people are like, I don't have anything to write. Like, I get to the paper. That shows that you're so disconnected from yourself that you can't even feel your feelings and you can't even understand and know where you're at, that you can't even get from your brain to a pen to take that action. So how on earth are you ever meant to manifest or live a life that you ever thought you could when you can't even take from your mind to the pen and to the piece of paper? And that was something that stuck with me because I always felt like I was kind of like I knew what I wanted, but I was still brain fog. But it wasn't even brain fog; it was just a limiting belief of what I thought I could achieve. And it was because that there was a small mindset, or people would always have opinions on different things, on what I was doing, and naturally, your instinct is this isn't going to work. And I think as well, the beliefs that we carry as women, or even men in general, they need to drop in order for a new person to actually be born, and also for you to live a life that you really want to, not what anyone else wants you to do either. And I think the first step is to write out from that pen to paper 3 things you're grateful for, the thought of the day, and maybe a limiting belief that you want to let go of, something that doesn't define you, but something that you feel like you always turn to, and you make that as your excuse. And the second thing that I kind of wanted to touch on today is the ceiling. And like I was saying, there is no roof here. I don't see a roof. I don't cap myself on that. When I get to one level, I go to the next. When I get to the next level, I go again. And there's always a layer that you can keep pulling back on all the time to take yourself there, to elevate again and again and again. And people are like, when is enough is enough? And I'm like, I don't know that answer. I never will. And I think in Ireland, you're told, especially as Irish people, we're told that um, don't get too big. Don't push outside your comfort zone. Don't tell people too much. Don't do that. That's a secure job. You couldn't leave your job and do that. How many people out there are in the exact same boat and feeling the exact same way, that these comments are probably things that are just instilled in you that you don't even know? So today, I really want you to be open-minded right now. If you could have no opinions of anyone else, what would you do? Would you post on social media? Would you get a new job? Would you not be in the career that you're in because you're keeping someone else happy? Where would you be living? Ask yourself that right now, because you're robbing yourself of everything that life has to offer because you're scared of what other people will think. And I think modesty is praised as well, but it can also be a cage. And I was very, very nice for so long, and I never wanted to hurt anyone else's feelings. But I'm never going to be truly myself or fulfilled, we'll say, if I'm not doing the actions and the things that I want to do that align to my journey and my path. And I think journaling for me, when I don't do it, I'm like, I really miss it. I feel disconnected. I like to get pen and paper out. Sometimes I scribble out the journal prompts from the head planner that I have, and I write my own because they're things that just come to me, and it's like I need to nearly like brain dump out onto the page. Then we speak about manifestation, and take a sip of your caffeine, take a sip of your drink wherever you are. Manifestation, but make it grounded. It's not about wishing, it's about aligning. What do you want right now? What do you want? Journaling has a way to clarify the vision and face the blocks, but getting real about what you want can scare you. Because you know, if I get real about this, maybe the career that I'm in right now, it's not where I'm going to be. Maybe the person that I'm with, they're probably going to be left behind. Maybe the friends that don't support me, but I also need them sometimes because I can't have no friends. Yes, you can, by the way, and you'll find a new circle. Those are the things that are keeping you stuck right now. And I think writing your future self into existence, one truth at a time, is what has helped me embody confidence, show up even when I don't want to, walk the walk, talk the talk, because I genuinely love it. But if you want to be respected, how you walk into a room, and confidence is everything. And I touch on that because when I'm speaking about confidence, a lot of people haven't even got the confidence to manifest what they really want. And it's the same thing. It's coming back to the limits and beliefs. It's coming back to what you're told and how you should live your life. And if you go against the grain or the norm, your family are going to be devastated. But you're not living for other people, you're living for you. So ask yourself today, on a scale of 1 to 10, how good do you feel? How good do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10? Where's your love life at? Where's your finances at? Where's your personal life at? How confident are you? How do you show up every day? I said to my girls last week on a call, you cannot expect to be respected in the industry or any industry if you don't show up the way you want to. You roll out of bed, you don't sort yourself out, you've gotten yourself all over the place. And I think when we look at that as well, you really, really, really have to be very, very honest with yourself on your standard that you have for yourself. And how could you manifest something when you don't even believe it? Manifestation has to be real. It has to be from within. So manifest and think about that person and how she would show up. How do I wake up every day? Well, me and where I want to be as a high performer and a high level standard woman will show up on a level that I feel connected with myself. I feel feminine. I feel beautiful. I feel it on the inside out. And then I embody it. That's how manifestation comes. Okay, you want to have the money, you want to have the car, go and travel, have the freedom. But what are your actions saying? Your actions say very different things. And it's a harsh reality because people are like, well, like you don't understand it. Duh, 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 duh. Okay, but I did at one point, and I'm giving you my advice because I'm steps ahead, and I'm not trying to compare anyone at the minute either. So if you ever do listen to my episodes and you feel a little bit like, would she shut up? I don't like that. That's a sign that like something on the inside here isn't resonating with you. And it's either jealous, envy, or you're just not happy in your life at the minute. Because when I listen to episodes with podcasts with people, I'm inspired. I'm motivated. I take out a pen and paper. I'm taking notes from people that are steps ahead of me. How do they show up? I'm looking at like some of the women that are making millions a month, and I'm like, what's she doing that I'm not? She's standards for herself. She's leveled ahead, okay, maybe experience and a few other different things come into it. But there is no difference between me and you or me and someone very, very, very successful. They just have a different way of living, standard, mindset, and complete habit, routine. Everything is just like been 360s in order to step into that person. They didn't start as that person. And always remember that we all start as beginners. We all start somewhere. But you really do have to embody that manifestation and step into what you say you want to do. Take action on it. Don't just write it on a piece of paper and expect it to come true and sit at your window waiting on it, because it's never going to come. And so many of us are just like, oh, you write all that stuff down, it never comes true. But like, ask yourself, like, did any of my actions on what I said I was going to do, did they even align with the goals that I had said I set myself? Probably not. And then you have to turn it back on yourself and be honest with yourself and be real with yourself. I have some tips that I wanted to share for starting out, and I'm going to read them out, and I want you to take out a pen and paper and I want you to write these down. So without the pressure, without the noise, just focus on yourself right now. Try not to think about my journey and me and the podcast. Try and take this for yourself. So start with what's true and not pretty. Start with the thing that makes you feel really uncomfortable, but you're like, I can't even write that because it means I'm going to be lonely, miserable, whatever it's going to make you feel. Write it down. But here's some prompts that shift things, okay? And these things are what I would write down over the next month or so, for the next 30 days. Again, don't do it for 30 days. Don't expect a result. Don't expect your mind to change. Don't expect your habits or routine to flip. So number one, what am I afraid to say out loud? Okay, what are you afraid to say out loud? Well, you're afraid to tell people to just fuck off. If they're commenting or if they're saying something about you, or if they're bypassing a remark, let people say what they want. But also, I don't really like how you made me feel. Don't suppress your emotions. Don't suppress how you feel to keep other people happy. Don't play small. If I fully believed I was worthy, what would I do next? So if you believe that you are worthy of the success, the happiness, the freedom, whatever it is that you're trying to manifest, what would you do next? So right after this podcast, what are you going to do? Are you going to go to TikTok and just scroll for 3 hours? Or are you going to take that pen and paper and you're going to go and get some shit done? Majority will go to TikTok. Majority will click off this actually now because they don't like what I'm saying, and it will burn and they'll be like, shut up, and they'll just scroll past because they don't like it. Bring yourself back. You're afraid of something here. And what version of me am I growing into? So these are shifts that need to change. These are prompts that I'm trying to give you to get your mind thinking. And there is no wrong way to do it either, by the way. It's no right, wrong. Is that the right answer? What do you think about this? Don't ask me for the opinion, for your validation on what you think you should write down. If it's right for you, it's right for you. And I think when people ask questions on the podcast or YouTube or even on Instagram when we're doing a Q&A or in my inbox, people want the answer from you because they can't get it themselves. But the answer is inside you. It's not in me. Mine is just advice and knowledge and what I've done on my journey. But that might not actually work for you. We all have different stories, different personalities, different mindsets, different lives. But you really have to find out what's for you. And I would write down 2 honest lines that really matter to you right now. So something honest to you that you write down. So sip again. We're taking it very ham and cheesy today, I'm not going to lie. I'm extremely chilled. If you see me a couple of weeks ago when I came in, he's like, she's chilled over there. I was stressed. I was exhausted. I was just pushing through. And every time I get on the mic, I just roll. Even though there's a brief, I just roll. It just comes off my tongue. I just love chatting to everyone. I love helping people. And I try and keep it as raw as possible because I don't need to crop out me taking a sip of my drink. It's natural. It's real. It's who I am, you know? And if you're doing that too right now, cheers. Okay. So what I've learned so far, journaling cracked something open for me. It truly did. I went back on some notes and I promise I'll share some down the line. I wrote myself a promise letter. Everything came true. I write on every single long flight that I do, especially at the start of a quarter. My goals, my manifestations went into those journals. And I also remember writing down these goals, manifestations, or even thoughts that had come to me on the page of how hurt I was at some stages in my life. And now when I'm at this stage, I'm like, that doesn't even hurt anymore. So if you're going through that right now, it passes and you just work through it. If you think that the things that you're writing down are too big, trust me, they're not. I thought them things that I had down, I was like, no, like that's like 5 years. It came true in like 6 to 12 months. You can do that too. You just really have to believe. And journaling didn't fix me, by the way. And I don't think I ever needed fixing. I don't like that word of fixing. I just needed to heal. I needed to grow. I needed to be more self-aware. And I needed to be the confident, loving, hardworking, both feminine and masculine energy that I am, not just the boss babe, Kira Rossi, that has the businesses and always on the go. No, I'm actually also quite soft. I'm a girl, like I'm both sides and I can turn the hat when I need to. So what you see maybe online all the time, that's truly just a reflection of business, making money. And yes, part of my life, it's always true, by the way, there. But in terms of who I am, my business doesn't define me. And I've said this on the last episode too. But journaling didn't fix me, it freed me. It freed my mind. Just like running did. Do I love running? Absolutely not. Do I do it? Yeah. 1 a week. That's it. But I love it. It makes me feel so good. It clears my mind. And the journal and pen to paper, it sets my intention for the day. It makes me feel regulated and organized. Yes, I have everything on my desktop, but I love having a pen to paper. I'm old school. I just love it. A lot of my girls are the exact same. It also helped me catch the lies that I had been repeating to myself. That was it. That was a stinger because I was like, you say you want all this and you say you're going to be this person and do all these things, but your actions kind of speak differently. And every time I would write it down, I was like, that's not me. And in your subconscious, it will always tell you that's not really you, but you have to believe it and you have to embody it. And it reminded me, just because it hasn't been done in front of you doesn't mean you can't be the first. So you can't be the first. You don't have to follow suit. If you are and you're happy, absolutely. But really be true with yourself. Just because someone in your family didn't do it, just because one of your friends didn't do it, doesn't mean you don't have to do it if that's what you really want to do. And something else that has kind of come to me as well, just before like we round up the episode to finish, I always love to kind of spiral off a little bit on like a summary of how I kind of feel. And again, it's short and sweet. Like today, I wanted to make it with like why I do pen to paper. You see my journal out all the time. You always ask and say, where do you start, Kira? 3 things you're grateful for. an affirmation of the day. I am happy, I am healthy, I am healed, I am working on myself, I'm open to possibilities. The list goes on. If you ever want anything, get yourself to ChatGPT. They'll give you everything there. You're just too lazy to go and find the answer, but you're waiting for it to come. Stop waiting and start working and start doing, start being, start embodying. I be everything that I say I want to be. And if I don't, I feel awful. I feel off course. I feel down. I don't feel good. And you know what that's called? Alignment. I'm not aligned with what I want. I'm not aligned with my goals. I'm not aligned with the person that I truly am. And when I'm not, I'm off course. I don't like it. It makes me feel bad. That's how I know when I'm doing the things that I really love, like the podcast, recording, check-ins, meeting my clients, running events. That's the type of shit that lights my fire on like that just lights my soul on fire is what I'm trying to say. And as women, especially here with you girls, if there's men listening too, we've been taught to shrink, doubt, or to overthink. And men, I think, have been taught and know, protect, provide, but also have a standard for yourself too. And women, step up. Don't just sit and wait for a man to do everything for you. That kills me. Do it yourself as well. Be a team. Meet the person halfway. Don't just sit and expect everything from someone else when you can't even give it to yourself. That's a hard pill to swallow, especially in Miami. Trust me. I have heard horror stories. I've heard it. But honestly, don't just, both men and women, don't rely on just one other person or your partner to fix you or help you. Like, it's about working together, but you also have to be able to embody and give the things that you want to yourself and love yourself. And that's how the jigsaw and the puzzle comes together. And page by page, we get to rewrite the story that we tell ourselves and what we're destined for. We get to rewrite that. We get the choice of that. But you're just so scared of other people's opinions and everything else, or the limiting belief that that would never happen to someone like you right now where you are in that town. How could you do it? And like, if I started to post and people say, well, you've got this job and like you're going from a full-time job into this crazy career. Are you mad? Yes, I'm absolutely bonkers should be your answer. But you're so scared to just say that. And I know, me saying this right now, you probably have a smile on your face and you're probably thinking of people that would probably say the same to you right now in your area or in your family or in your circle. But a gentle reminder, journaling and manifestation with the pen and paper won't give you all the answers, but it will bring back your voice, which will then bring back your brain to think to the thoughts and the imagination of what's possible, which will lead to self-belief, the pen to the paper, and then the action, which is the creation. Okay? So really think about that one. And that voice as well that you have, the one that we've all been gifted, it's powerful. Don't think that your story isn't fancy enough to share with the world. People want to see real people. I bumped into, on the way home from the nail salon last week while I was having a full day off social media. Have never done that as well, by the way. Took a complete detox. I got to a breaking point last week where I couldn't take anymore. I was just exhausted. Like, I couldn't breathe at one point. That I was like, this has never happened to me before. What is it? I think I was having like a panic attack because I was just so stressed. I was so exhausted. I was so done with the shit that I was just like, I'm packing it in. That's it. In my head. I didn't say it out loud because I knew. I was like, I'm not saying that. But I bumped into this guy on the way home and he pulled in. I was actually like going past the taco place, the Mexican enchilada, and I was like, will I, won't I? I'm starving. And I was like, fuck, I'm going in. So I actually done like a loop around and went in. He was like, do you come here often? Like, I live across the road, blah, blah, blah. He said, do you want to join me? Sit down. Such a nice guy. And I sat down and had a conversation with him. And he was like, you know what? He was like, it's crazy that you're talking about social media and what you do. He was like, I'm just a Joe average soap. He was like, I don't have a crazy story. I do the basics. Like, I walk my dog. I go to the gym. He was like, I love all of that. He was like, why would people want to see my life? Instant self-doubt. Instant shut down on yourself. No confidence. Why would people not want to see the real you? Look at the people that are making a lot of money. Yes, okay, you see the head going into the ice bowl and you see the gorgeous routine and the car pulling up and the Lamborghini, and you're like, wow, that's gold. But remember, we all know deep down that's not how that person lives. We all know that that's not the reality of it. But we don't think it's possible for us. Or why would people want to hear our story? Well, if you can't believe it, why should I believe it? I call my norm the norm now. Like, I'm ready to level up again. And people are like, you don't live a normal life. You live a fucking crazy life. And I'm like, do I? Because I don't think it's crazy. That's just my norm. So what's your norm? And what are you ready to change in your life? And if this episode stirred something, if it made you feel a little bit uneasy, let it sit. Sit with it. Ask yourself if you're related. Why am I'm relating to a lot of shit here? What is it in me right now? And maybe write about it. Maybe journal on it. Maybe get your pen and paper out. It's not too late just because it's the middle of the year and you haven't done out any goals or even achieved anything. I'm sure you have, but you just haven't been able to acknowledge the small things in life, like the gratitude of every day, showing up when you really didn't want to, and you're still here right now listening to the episode. I think you should give yourself a little bit of a tap on the back for that. And you don't need a perfect morning routine. You don't need fancy coffee machines or a fancy notebook to begin. You just need to start. And everyone's like, but where, what? You don't need all that. You just start. There is no magic pill. You just start. And just have the willingness as well to listen and tell the truth as well. So tell the truth to yourself. This isn't about anyone else, your truth. And finally, and this was one that I loved, you are not too much. Your goals aren't too big. You should be absolutely delulu if you want your manifestations to come true and if you want to live a bigger and better and bolder life and happier. And just remember to go a little bit bigger. Because what we as humans and in our minds and how we're programmed and how we're brought into this world is what we think our path is. But no, you create your own path. You create your own journey. And you create and write your own story with your own pen and whatever color notebook you want. Mine's pink. It changes sometimes. It's a pink pen. It's a pink notebook. Sometimes it changes and it could be in my phone, could be somewhere else, but it's mine. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be set in stone. And I just want to thank you as well for being here, for being people that listen, that tune in, that give it a thumbs up. You know, like, support goes a long way in this big world. You really notice the real ones that are there, that have been there from day dot, that support me, and the ones that have faded off, ciao Bella, I'll see you on the other side. Because to be honest, your true colours really show, and people's true colours really show when things are brought to light. And my final thing as well that I want to finish on is I read, listened to a reel just before I came in, and this girl said, start a business and watch who disappears off the earth. Where are the people that said, like, what are you doing? Where are you at? Oh, they're nowhere to be seen. So start the business and watch the real people show up. And that's a huge one for me. That was like one that was like, ooh. And if no one's told you lately, possibility still belongs to you. You just need to believe it. You need to embody it. You need to write that shit down, get it out of your mind, and set bigger goals for yourself and go for it all. But thank you for listening to this episode. I hope that you're excited for the next couple of weeks. You're coming along on an exciting journey with me, by the way. September, who knows where I'm going to be, but it's not going to be Miami. So make sure you stay tuned because something is coming. And thank you for watching and listening wherever you are in the world. And I hope you have an amazing week, and I hope this episode inspires you. Thank you.